Alright lads, so continuing on with the series of beating the very hard difficulty at Guild Quest, only using special move level 1 out of 5 characters. Today we have 4 new teams, all with varying success, that I definitely recommend trying to beat and conquer the very hard Guild Quests. Now before we do begin, a quick heads up that all the characters and links that we are using here are only special move level 1. So SP level 10 or attack level 10, depending on the type of character we actually are using. All the characters with the exception of one team, and I'll tell you what team that exactly is when the time does come. SP characters' bonus abilities will consist of full stamina and also SP, whereas our NAD characters will be using full stamina and also attack. And with that in mind, jumping into our very first team, we have a pretty amazing team. Literally, this is the best team in Guild Quest. Assuming you have a max transcended Yatsuru Unohana, you're actually capable of beating this quest in less than 20 seconds time. But removing Yatsuru's transcendent slots, her soul bomb still does hit a tad bit harder compared to a 1-5 Yatsuru. Keep that in mind, but in terms of strong attack damage where most of our DPS is coming from, she performs like a 1 out of 5 character. And the extra damage from the soul bomb honestly doesn't even make that much of a difference. But the idea of the team is that Yatsuru is going to be our main DPS character. She is quite frankly the only one in the team that is actually doing damage. But because she can do so much damage, we're using 2 other characters to boost her DPS. Our second character we are going to use is Akon. Akon is a very important piece to this team since he does provide Yatsuru with 40% more damage to enemies inflicted with weakening and also an additional 20% strong attack damage since she herself is a speed character. To go alongside that, we're then using Shinji. He can not only debuff the enemies, allowing us to do more damage, but once more, very similar to Akon, he is also providing us with a 20% strong attack damage increase, this time for being a speed captain. And with that team in mind, let's jump into the run. So the run is very simple. You just basically spam your strong attacks whenever you can. Ideally, what you want to do is use your SA3 to apply the SP boost, and if you possibly can, it's sometimes hard to see, you want to use a strong attack when the enemy is inflicted with weakening. So if you need to lure the enemy around into the trap to make sure they get weakened, that's something you actually can do. Whenever the enemy is weakened, you want to make sure you spam all your strong attacks because that's when you do most of your damage. When the enemy isn't weakened though, it's only so that big a deal, and sometimes you might rely on luck, inflicting a status summon every now and then, but the team is generally very consistent, and we had a lot of time left over. Sometimes holding out using a strong attack or 2 for your other strong attacks to come back might be something you want to do, because going into the next stage with no strong attacks ready might be a bit detrimental to the team, but even then, to be fair, it doesn't make that much of a difference because if your 2 teammates die, you don't lose your buffs. Sure, if Shinji dies, he won't debuff the enemies, but considering how fast we're clearing it, I don't think Shinji can get the debuff off more than once. With that in mind, though, we were able to clear the quest with around 30 or so seconds left. A very consistent team. Only took me less than 5 minutes to get this run. But we all know Yatsuru is an amazing character, more so thanks to the fact that she's accessed some really good boost characters in the form of Akon and of course also Shinji. Moving into our second team, it's actually a very similar team with the idea that we are using someone to boost our main DPS character. Now in this case, for our main DPS, we are using the new 1000-year Blood War Ichibei. He's an amazing character, and of course, to no one's surprise, he's also going to be really good in Guild Quest. Although, do keep in mind, it took me a while to realize this. He's not immune to the weakening pulse, so you do have to make sure you are standing in a safe position, but that's really not hard to overcome. So Ichibei is going with the standard build, giving as much SP as possible, and we are also using recharge, full stamina, and also strong attack damage soul traits. When it comes to our second character, a character I recently just pulled this morning, we have Swimsuit Jushiro, and he's the exact same character as Akon. He's not there to do any damage. I'm pretty sure we gave him Chappies just because why not? But in his case, he is giving Ichibei a 20% strong attack damage increase and also 40% more damage to enemies inflicted with weakening. Lucky for us though, Jushiro can inflict weakening himself and has an increased chance to do so, so that might help out the team. Now for our third character, we're using 1000-year Blood War Oetu. He's going to serve as our team booster, but while at the same time doing damage himself. He's immune to weakening, he has poise, and he has a great damage output thanks to his resurrection. In his case, as always, we're stacking him with full attack, and for his links, he has a mixture of recharge, full stamina, and also normal attack damage. Thanks to these 2 characters, you can give him recharge and nads, and it's a pretty good combo, allowing him to do more damage with his normal attacks while also stacking his boost. And within the run, it goes very smooth, and that's thanks to the fact that Ichibei starts the gauge with 70% of it full, has a very easy time filling it every time he gets to use his strong attack, but every enemy he kills, it also does fill the gauge. Now, the team's clear time can be a bit inconsistent to the extent that it's going to clear consistently and it's going to clear fast. But if you get lucky with your weakening procs, you can potentially clear even faster. Weakening in the very hard difficulty of Guild Quest and the hard difficulty only lasts around 2 or so seconds. You have a very short time to actually take advantage of the weakening effect. And unlike Yatsuru Unohana, who has the trap effect SA3, the weakening proc with Ichibei isn't as consistent. but sometimes it does happen, especially when you do use your soul bomb. I would recommend using the soul bomb on the power boss, considering the fact that you are using a full team of technique characters. And then lucky for us, the third boss is halfway through the quest, which you'll see, considering the fact that we are spamming our strong attacks. When we activate the gauge, it reduces our strong attacks, and every time we defeat a wave, the gauge pauses, but our strong attacks are still recharging, and that allows us to fill up the gauge even faster. And again, very similar to Yachiru's team, the team clears consistently. It's a very easy team to use. Even with Ichibei not being immune to weakening, it doesn't make that much of a difference. We even had a Wetu die in our team, but it didn't matter for Ichibei because he is the mad monk himself. But jumping into team number 3, I like to call this the Team Lacerate. The idea behind this team is to inflict Lacerate where White and also Ishin both do more damage. Now, I do want to give a quick preface that my bonus abilities this time around were incorrect. White had full stamina and long strides, very similar to our other characters. Giving him full stamina and SP or full stamina and weakened defense might be what you want to do. It's definitely better than long strides, which didn't help us out whatsoever. And Ishin had full stamina and more damage lacerated enemies, where instead you would want to give him full stamina and also attack. But if you notice that Ishin is taking a lot of damage and he isn't staying at full stamina, then attack and also more damage to lacerated enemies will be something you want to do. So keep that in mind. The run you are about to see doesn't have the greatest set of bonus abilities. But White is going to be our main character, Ishin is going to be our main normal attack DPS, and then we have Orihime as our team booster, and also at the same time provides that extra support with the barriers. If we ever get a melee super killer with a boost SA2 and barrier, you're definitely going to want to use them instead of Orihime, but Orihime is replaceable with any other team booster with also a barrier, or you can use a melee super killer with a team boost, but understand there are none out there that also provide barriers. But going into the run, this one, I will be honest, was a bit iffy. By that, it was a bit RNG dependent. We really do want to inflict Lacerate here, and at the same time, keep in mind my 8th anniversary Y is special move level 5, and in this case, his summon does hit quite hard, I will say. Maybe that extra difference in the summon damage makes a massive difference. We were definitely cutting it close, but I would still recommend trying out the team if you possibly can. And if anything, if you are able to get your White or Ish into special move level 2 out of 5, they are both available in the post selection banner. That would therefore mean you unlock the SP and focus slot, or in the case of Ish and attack and focus, the guaranteed criticals will go a long way and will definitely speed up the process of being able to clear this quest. But it's a very simple thing. You just go in, spam your strong attacks whenever you can. If you can, prioritize waiting a few seconds to maybe get the SP boost once more. Being able to actively have the SP boost throughout the entire quest is definitely important for doing the max damage potential. You'll see in this quest, I would have used my soul bomb earlier, but I waited for the SP boost to wear off. That way I know when I use my soul bomb, it's going to apply weakened defense. We're going to clear that stage faster, but it's also going to give me a full fresh 10 seconds with the SP boost. Lucky for us, at least this time around, as I'm recording the video, the final boss is a heart character, so therefore we are able to clear the most difficult boss the fastest, or very fast, because White is an amazing character, especially when going against heart characters. This team, when the final boss isn't heart, might be a bit more difficult, might not be able to beat it, but again, any extra transcendence, level 10 focus on both your characters, maybe a third team booster with the melee super killer will make this team way better and more consistent on an average basis, regardless of what attribute the final boss is. Regardless that we were able to claim, it was a very tough one, didn't take that long, in this case less than 15 minutes. And then for our last team, we have a more traditional team to say the least. We have Safui Toshira as our main DPS, and alongside that we're using 2 normal attack damage characters, one being a high DPS in the form of Fierce Battle Byakuya, and our second character, Spirit Society Chad, is going to be our team booster. So in Chad's case, we're going with full recharge and also full stamina, although considering the team that we are using here, it really doesn't matter given the fact that we have no barriers. So this team, if not more than ever compared to any other team, is more reliant on inflicting status augments, because if you do get to inflict freeze, of course, not only are you doing more damage thanks to the SP boost, it also secures that your entire team is going to stay protected. This team with no barriers is a bit squishy, but even then, their survivability wasn't even too bad. Giving them a large ditch link, Senkamon Tatsuki for Byakuya, Senkamon Ichigo for Chad, means that if they do die, at the very least they will revive and have a decent last stand. I got very lucky in this game, I will say, inflicting status augments on almost every single boss. Using my soul bomb near the 3rd or 4th boss, I believe, was the best play here. I believe I did it on the 3rd boss, given the fact that you were a power character. And again, using it in the middle point is always the best thing to do, since you are using a gauge character. During this quest, I believe I was able to get the boost off 3 times. And even if you do take damage, considering the fact that Toshiro can heal himself, depending on how much damage you do take, the run might not even be over. I'm not sure if it was in this run, but there were multiple times while trying to attempt for this run where I believe I did get hit and just healed back up the full stamina when the gauge did activate. But yeah, this team is very reliant on inflicting status augments. more so just to keep your team safer. But either way, it cleared, and it cleared with some decent time spent. And with that was the 4 teams that I wanted to showcase today, beating the very hard difficulty Guild Quest, only using a special move level 1 out of 5 characters. Definitely recommend, if you can, to recreate these teams. You can mix and match with a few teams too. Definitely don't have to follow the exact same characters, but we did showcase a variety of characters today. Hopefully they can help you out. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and peace.